This month is Black History. And we decided that for the first time ever in Boston High School's history, we were going to throw a program. So I think that deserves a cheer too. To me, Black History Month is bringing a part of my history, my culture to those who are different from that. I believe in inclusion and diversity. I believe that we should live in a world where we accept people, whether their beliefs or their ideas, even if they're different than yours. There should still be equal understanding and peace because at the end of the day, we're all people. But unfortunately, in this country's history, sometimes left on unnoticed. So my hope is that with this program, I can bring to you some of me and those who look like me. Bring our culture and show that at the end of the day, we're not also here for each other. I have a couple people that I would like to thank. I would like to thank my fellow officers of ASA for helping me plan this whole program. I would like to thank my sponsor, Mrs. O'Kennedy, who just dived right in and helped us plan a program that at one time seemed impossible, but we're here today. I would also like to thank Austin High School's choir vocal ensemble, because they will be performing. I would like to thank ASA's dance team. I would like to thank Mrs. Webb for being our wonderful guest speaker. And I would like to thank our student volunteers. Tanya Olawale, Arifat Ajala, Lihar Razibi, and Aliza Lee. Thank you for everybody who's worked on this program and put in time, blood, sweat, and tears. I'd also like to thank our administrators, our APs, and our principal, Dr. Quadri, for allowing us to show this program today. A round of applause for them, please. I would also like to thank AHS Yearbook and AHS Broadcasting for coming here for this program so that we can help make it widespread to the whole Austin High School community. And I'd also like to thank Austin Theater Tech, Kavaya, Maya, Talia, and Jovi. You know who you are. Alright. First up, we have a performance from Austin High School's vocal performance class. They will be performing Ella's Song. Ella's Song was written about the civil rights activist Ella Baker, who had an important quote that said, "Until the killing of black men, black mother's son is as important as killing white men, white mother's son. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it is done." We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. Oh, we who believe in freedom cannot rest until the killing of the black man. Black mother's son is as important as killing a white man. White mother's son. The which justice me most is that I had a chance to work with people to pass on to others which was passed on to me. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. To me, young people concur. They have the courage of what we feel. And if I can but shed some light as they carry us through the gale. The older I get, the better I know that the secret of my going on is when the reins are in the hands of the young who dare to work against the soul. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. Not needing to clutch the power, not needing the light just to shine on me. I need to be one in the number as we stand against tyranny.
8 years old and fresh off the boat. Young, bright-eyed, and bushy-tailed, yet burdened by the fear that my new classmates were disappointed that my skin wouldn't bend with theirs on winter's end. I developed insecurities and stored it in the forefront of my brain, though my self-esteem wasn't yet in the gutter. While we all know that kids can be cruel, and year after year after year, they added to the emotional clutter. But after a while, my accent just started to fade, and I felt like I was starting to fit in. My feet were still tied and my wings clipped, but for a split second I felt like I was ready to sing about how I no longer felt like I was a part of the other. But right before my voice could break, a little girl in my class poked me, moved her desk away, and asked me, "Why are you that color?" I grew up in a very homogeneous area where incidents like this didn't bother me because they were all I knew. But looking at all of the diversity I see in front of me today, I must say, I do have quite the view. But even here, they'll pass judgment against those who, instead of saying, "Hello, this is my family," they say, "Yeah, this is my crew," even though both phrases have the same harmless connotation. Well, maybe they're threatened by the little spin we put on the pronunciations. Or perhaps some people find justification in the fact that no matter how far we come, there's still intolerance against blacks in this historically oppressive nation. That brings me to my point. Nature versus nurture, the age-old debate. Can we shape a country that was born out of hate, whose founders were thrown to the bones of those that they deemed less great? I still think we can. And that doesn't mean that I think that we should all do what I did growing up, hiding my personality in the name of combating stereotypes, so that they would have no other choice when they heard the valley in my voice than to associate me, my name, and my color with something of value. No. Because by doing so, I only sentence myself to a childhood full of nicknames such as Swiss roll and Oreo. I'm sure to a lot of you, those nicknames sound familiar. The complexity of systematic racism has been downplayed so much so that children under the age of 10 years old saw my skin but didn't hear attitude, so they associated me with a cream-centered food. So please, forgive me for starting off this speech about progress with a reminiscatory groove, because although I do want so much to move forward, I can't omit or exclude the fact that being black in America comes with the fear of being taunted. And for some, even beaten black and blue is a hard pill to swallow, so feel free to chew. Might leave a bad taste in your mouth, but I find that racism, discrimination, and injustice often do. To shape a country, we must stop sending the world mixed signals by only praising and fetishizing light skins and mixed singles. We must make ourselves culturally aware so that when the world sees a fist in the air, it is universally understood and not just overlooked as a missed symbol. We must take every chance we can to educate ourselves and our peers so that the next generation of black 8-year-olds will see their skin and immediately know the history, power, and beauty that it holds. Thank you.
I don't know, but it won't come.
Last, but certainly not least, I would like to introduce a very special woman who's in the audience. Her accomplishments are a testament to who she is. High school valedictorian, receiver of over $75,000 in scholarships to college. She received a full ride and got back up every time she got knocked down. A life story that'll motivate you like no other. She is a scientist and an inspiration to all who are told that they can't grow up to be who they want to be because of where they're from or what they look like. The founder of Coding with a Twist, a program that sets out to educate and mentor youth and minorities about STEM, I would like Austin to give a warm welcome to someone who I got the feeling is going to shake the table. Please give it up for Ms. Sharell Webb.
Good morning, Austin High School. Hello, thank you so much for that beautiful welcome. My name is Sharell Webb. I am the education specialist for the Lunar and Planetary Institute. I said that long phrase, that long introduction to say that I work with about 26 scientists that study every object in our solar system. And I am the one that presents the public with the things that they find. Now, what's significant about what I just stated, if you didn't remember anything else, the Lunar and Planetary Institute is in Pasadena. It has been in existence for 51 years, right after the Apollo missions, and I am the first and only African American who has had or that's holding that position ever within 51 years. I'm definitely a trailblazer, but I have still a lot of work to do. So if you have not heard of the Lunar and Planetary Institute before, today you have, and I look forward to seeing you. Because we're an entity under NASA, everything that we do is free to the public. So I want to personally invite you to our SkyFest events. We just had one this past Saturday, and the theme was Venus and volcanism. And one of our scientists by the name of Justin Fibrella, he just discovered that there are active volcanoes on Venus as we speak and sit here today. So that's a little bit of what I do at LPI. And so I stand before you wanting to just express that even though I have a long list of accolades, I'm not a perfect person by a long shot. A little bit about my life. As far as I can remember, I'm going to start at the age of 2. At the age of 2, I was adopted by an aunt and uncle. I was adopted because I had a parent that was addicted to drugs, and actually still to this day. She's addicted to crack cocaine. And I had to realize that her decision is not my decision. And her choices, thank you. I had to realize that her choices are not because of me, and that I had to push forward. So I grew up in a very loving household. When I was smaller, and I would think, and I always knew that I was adopted. That's what I loved about my parents. They never lied to me about the situation. And so they would allow me to visit with her. I knew who she was, but for the majority of my childhood, she was always in and out of jail. Now, if I was a parent to a little one that had another parent who was, in and out of jail, I don't know if I was exposing them to that, but they allowed me to see her. And at one time, she was in prison as well as my grandmother. So it was my grandmother in prison, my mom in prison, and when I went to go visit, they allowed me to visit both of them, which was actually unheard of because, only one visit one prisoner at a time. But because it was a mother, grandmother duo, they allowed me to see them at both times. And that always kind of stuck in my mind. I'm just like, you know what? I will not continue that cycle of drug abuse, bad decisions. I don't want my children to come visit me in jail. I don't want them to feel the same hurt that I felt. So there are some decisions growing up that I'm going to have to make. So, speed it up. My adoptive parents, they were older. They had 6 other children beside me. The youngest was 20 years older than I was. So when I grew up in our household, I felt like I was the only child because they were already out the house. But when they passed away when I was 13 and when I was 15 years old, I felt as if my purpose died right along with them, because why else will I still be here? I took care of them before they passed away. I got my license when I was at the age of 14. They were older, so I had to go to the grocery store and make groceries, get groceries, purchase groceries, go to pharmacy, buy their medications. And nowadays, a pharmacist probably won't even, allow a minor to receive their drugs, their medicine. But because I was in a small town, people knew my situation and they entrusted me to go and get the medicine and come straight back home. After they passed away, I felt like my purpose had left with them, and I attempted suicide. Yeah, I did. I did that because I felt like the only people in the world that cared about me are no longer here. I was in a very dark place in my life. And so we were also a praying family. And so there was a friend of the family who came to live with me after the funeral so I can finish out my 10th grade year. And she would pray with me every single night. And she didn't even know that I attempted suicide. And of course I was too embarrassed to tell her, but obviously it didn't work or I wouldn't be in front of you today. But she prayed with me, she prayed me through that. After school was out, the very next day, my sister purchased a U-Haul, brought it to Lufkin. I'm originally from Lufkin, Texas. Brought it to Lufkin. We loaded all my things of what I had, and I came to Houston. Well, the sister that I was moving in with, she had a daughter who was a year and 11 days younger than me. And so immediately, I thought that I was a burden on her. I felt like I was infringing on her room because then we had to share rooms. And if you've ever been in a situation where it was once all of yours, and then next thing you know, someone comes in and then it becomes ours, it's just like, okay, this is weird. And I felt like I was impeding on her space, and so I always just tried to keep my little section nice and neat and, not ruffle feathers and, comply to her rules. And one of the things that she liked to do is sleep with the TV on. I don't like sleeping with that's not how I like to go to sleep. It's dark and nice and quiet. But because I felt like, that burden part of me, okay, let the TV stay on. Don't say anything, Sharell, just do it. So now, after although I kind of, adapted to that situation, now I can sleep when it's hurricaning outside, when it's raining outside, when something is, if there's a twister outside, I can sleep in any kind of condition now, because then I kind of had to get accustomed to that. So by my sister having a child that was closer to aging me, I knew that she wouldn't be able to afford me going to school. So I started applying for scholarships the summer of my 11th grade year, and I received a lot of Dear Miss Martin, Mrs. Martin, unfortunately at this time you didn't get this scholarship, but I also received Dear Miss Webb, Dear Miss Martin, congratulations, you have. And it was in those letters that I found, okay, I can do this. I want to not continue to be a burden on my sister with having her pay for my school. So let me take accountability for myself. And I know that education was the only way, me being academically strong, was the only way that I could get out of my current situation. So long story short, I earned about $75,000 in external scholarships, academic scholarships. And then I received a full ride scholarship to Jarvis Christian College, where I majored in chemistry with a minor in biology. And I'm going to also fast forward some too. When I graduated, my sister, who is the same person that I moved in with when I was younger, she said, Sharell, she was a principal, she said, Sharell, I really need a science teacher. I don't really have a good science teacher. I need a science. And I'm looking at her like, okay, you need a science teacher. Good luck with that. No, I need you to be the science teacher. So, being that, that sister that wanted to help, she helped me when I was younger, so I actually felt obligated to fulfill that need for her. So I got into an ACP program, alternative certification program, and I obtained my teaching credentials to teach science. Because her school was not fit to hire someone that was on a probationary certificate, she couldn't hire me. So my first position as a high school chemistry teacher was at Cashmere High School. And if you know anything about Cashmere, I stand 4'11". And many of you too, all of my students was much taller than me, and in some cases larger than me, but that didn't scare me away. Why? Because I've suffered through parents with, drug addiction. Matter of fact, let me go back to that. I wanted to bring up that my mother actually had two other children before me. I have 2 brothers and me as the child. And I actually don't know who my biological father is. And in some cases, now when I watch TV, it seems as if, I should be on a journey to find that person, who that person is. Now, I've never really been, pushed or had the desire to find out who he was, because you know what? At the end of the day, I feel like, well, he's missing out, not me. And if he wanted to be in my life, then he will look for me. And so I had to realize through prayer and meditation and affirmations that it doesn't matter who my biological father is. All that matters is that I'm a child of God, and he's my father, and he's going to take care of me like he's always done. So, ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today, not as a perfect person, but birthed from a mother who's addicted to crack cocaine, an unknown father, mother and grandmother in and out of jail, brother in jail for most of his life, adoptive parents passed away when I was 13 and 15, attempted suicide twice, being homeless, depression, and medical scares. And I still stand before you today with a message of positivity, with a message of no matter where or how you got your beginning, that doesn't determine the story of your life. Thank you so much for listening to my story. Of course, there was much to tell and so much to continue on, but I hope to see you in the near future at LPI, and you're doing more phenomenal things. I want to congratulate you, my dear, for orchestrating this whole day. It has been beautiful, and I hope that you continue on in whatever endeavor you choose to pursue.
So thankfully we have come to the end of our Black History Month program. I hope that it's been a wonderful, enlightening experience. I would just like classes to hold for 1 minute. I would like to bring everybody up on stage who took part in this program. Please, can the ASA officers come up here? Can the ASA dance team come up here, please? Can the Austin High School vocal production class please come up here? Can Ms. Hill Kennedy, our wonderful sponsor, come up here? And can our student volunteers, Stephanie, Maliha, Arifat, Mariah Cook, Chris McCrae, and Tenny, please come up here? Can Eliza Lee, who helped us make our posters, come up here as well? I would just like the whole audience to please give these people a round of applause, because this program did not happen without them. I would also like to give a big thank you to Austin High School Yearbook, Broadcasting, and Austin High School Theater. We just give a big round of applause, everybody! Thank you so much for coming out. We hope you enjoyed yourselves.